Welcome to the training flight on the countermeasure systems of the A-10C. I've engaged the autopilot to keep us level and on course. Manage the throttle to maintain the airspeed above 200 knots. The countermeasure set CMS of the A-10C includes the countermeasure set control CMSC panel on the front dash, the countermeasure signal processor CMSP on the right console, the ALR-69 radar warning receiver RWR, the missile warning system MWS, and the chaff and flare dispensers. Let's take a quick look at the DSMS page to review our payload. We are carrying an ALQ-131 ECM pod on Station 1 and a pair of captive AIM-9Ms on Station 11. Press OSP 15 to return to the TAD page. Adjust the TAD scale so you can get a better idea of the flight plan. To do so, first make the TAD soy by pressing the Hotez Coolie Hat left long command or hold the H key on the keyboard. Then press the Hotez Demus down command or the N key on the keyboard repeatedly. Now make the HUD soy by pressing the Hotez Coolie Hat up command or U key on the keyboard. The CMS of the A-10 is capable of detecting, classifying, and actively counteracting both air and ground threats. The system will indicate threats to the pilot, including missile fire detected by missile rocket plume presence, and engage countermeasures in either manual, semi-automatic, or automatic modes of operation. The CMSP includes custom programs to counteract specific threats, and these can be selected and activated manually by the pilot or automatically by the CMS. Active countermeasures include self-protection jamming, SPJ, when a jammer pod is loaded, and release of chaff and flares against radar and infrared guided surface-to-air missiles, SAM. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Let's first review the CMSP on the right console. The CMSP panel allows you to provide power to the countermeasure system and select the mode of operation between off, STBY, standby, MAN, manual, semi-automatic, and automatic. You can also view, select, and configure countermeasure programs here. The mode select dial selects between operational modes as follows. Off, no power is applied and the systems are not operational. Standby, power is applied, the CMS systems are operational and can be configured, but active countermeasures are not engaged. Manual, countermeasures will be activated by the pilot according to the program selected by the pilot. Semi, countermeasures will be activated by the pilot according to the program selected by the CMS depending on the type of threat. Automatic, countermeasures will be activated by the CMS according to the program selected by the CMS depending on the type of threat. Press the spacebar key to proceed. The CMSP display window indicates the current chaff remaining count, flares remaining count, RWR status, and current release program. The four system select switches enable disable power to the CMSP component systems, which include MWS, Missile Warning System, JMR, ALQ-131 ECM Pod, RWR, ALR-69V Radar Warning Receiver, DISP, Chaff Flare Dispensers. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Let's now take a look at the Countermeasures Set Control CMSC panel below the UFC. The top display window of the CMSC indicates the current status and program of the jammer ECM. The jammer status will indicate one of the following. Off, ECM system is disabled. SBY, ECM system is enabled, but not emitting. OPR, operating, ECM is active. The jammer programs include Air, defense against airborne target threats. SAM-1, defense against older generation SAM systems such as SA-3, SA-6, and SA-8. SAM-2, defense against later generation SAM systems such as the SA-10, SA-11, SA-15, and SA-19. AAA, defense against radar-guided anti-aircraft artillery systems such as the Zeus ZSU-23-4. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Press the JMR select button repeatedly to try cycling the jammer programs. Below the JMR window, the MWS window indicates the current status of the missile warning system. This will indicate off when the system is off, active when the system is on, and launch when a missile launch has been detected. The red ML light will also turn on when a missile launch is detected. Press the spacebar key to proceed. To the right of the JMR display window, the chaff flare window indicates the following: current release program letters A through Z, chaff remaining in XXX format, CMSP mode _X for standby, M for manual, S for semi-automatic, and A for automatic. Flares remaining in XXX format. When a release program is active and chaff flares are being deployed, the mode letter indication is replaced by a diamond symbol. Press the spacebar key to proceed. The PRI select button selects between displaying 16 or 5 of the highest priority threats on the ALR69 RWR display. When priority mode is on, only the 5 highest threats will be displayed and the green light above the PRI select button will turn on. The SCP select button declutters the RWR display by separating contacts away from each other on the scope. The BRT brightness knob adjusts the CMSC display brightness. The AUD audio knob adjusts the ALR69 RWR warning tone volume in the headset. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Now let's come back to the CMSP to review the steps required to configure a chaff flare release program. The NXT Next rocker key is used to cycle the programs. Cycle to release program B. Right-click the DISP dispenser switch on the CMSP to enter the program settings mode. The CMSP display window is now indicating the settings for this program, including the number of chaff bundles to be released, the number of flares to be released, the release interval in seconds, and the number of release cycles. To customize the program, first press the select button associated with the setting you want to adjust. Then use the next rocker key to increase or decrease the setting. For example, to add flare deployment to this program, press the flare select button. Now press the next rocker key up twice to set the flare release quantity for this program to 2. Press the return button to store the changes and return to the status screen. The JTSN off switch to the right of the select buttons is used to enable the jettison of the ECM pod, which is not normally jettisoned. We'll now turn our attention to the CMS switch on the HOTAS. Regardless of what sensor is set as SOI, the CMS switch has the following 5 functions. Right, cycle to the next CMS program. Left, cycle to the previous CMS program. Forward, start CMS program. Aft, stop CMS program. Down, activate, deactivate the jammer. Try pressing the HOTAS CMS left and right commands or 9 and 0 keys on the keyboard to cycle the release programs. Press the HOTAS CMS forward command or the 7 key on the keyboard to initiate chaff and flare release for the currently selected program. Press the HOTAS CMS AF command or 8 key on the keyboard to stop the current release program. Now press the HOTAS CMS down command or the dash key on the keyboard to activate the jammer. Remember, when the CMSP is set to auto mode, the chaff, flare, and jammer programs will be selected and activated automatically by the system. We'll now discuss the ALR69 RWR display. The ALR69 RWR display presents threat symbols according to bearing and threat priority, not range. Threats in search acquisition mode are displayed in the outer ring, while threats in tracking lock mode are displayed in the inner ring. As such, any contact in the inner ring should be considered a higher threat than any contact in the outer ring, even though the former may be further away than the latter. The RWR scope classifies targets by type and status. All known airborne and ground radar types are identified by a letter or a number code corresponding to their designation. A hat symbol is added above airborne radar contacts. The highest threat contact is inscribed by a diamond. A semicircle is added above the most recent contact. A flashing semicircle or circle is added to a contact that is supporting a missile launch. All detected missiles are identified by the letter M inscribed by a circle. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Autopilot is off. Set your steer point for waypoint 3, range, and turn toward the weapon's range. Maintain altitude above 12,000 feet. We'll try utilizing the CMS against some actual threat contacts over the range. If you wish, you can accelerate time by pressing the left control and Z keys. To return to normal time, press left shift and Z. Set the CMSP to auto mode by right-clicking 1. Our first contact will be a ground-based early warning radar, EWR station,
identified on the RWR with an S for search radar.
The semicircle above the contact indicates that it is the most recent contact, and the diamond indicates it is the highest priority threat. We will now have an additional contact. A MiG-31 Foxhound is inbound from the southwest at beyond visual range. Note the hat symbol designating this contact as an airborne radar. The semicircle and diamond indications have switched to this contact to indicate it is the most recent and highest priority threat. Note the automatic activation of the jammer and release of countermeasures by the CMS. You can press the SEP select button on the CMSC to declutter the RWR scope. The MiG threat has been disabled. In the case of the Foxhound, the missile launch was detected by the RWR based on the signals of the MiG's radar. The launch was too far to be detected by the MWS directly as it could not detect the rocket plume. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Our next contact will be an SA-15 SAM system at close range. In this case, the missile launch will be detected by the MWS. Monitor the CMSC and RWR indications. Sam! The SA-15 has now been disabled. Although in this lesson we flew straight and level toward the hostile contacts, that is obviously not the best course of action in battle. Your first line of defense should always be good mission intelligence and threat avoidance. Study the route and target area prior to the flight, and plan to avoid all known threats as much as possible, both horizontally and vertically. When engaged, you may be able to simply turn the other way and run if the shooter is at a relatively long range. But given the A-10's slow speed, this may not always be a reliable option. At the kinds of close ranges you are most likely to encounter threats in the A-10C, your best bet will be to make good use of the CMS to actively counteract threats and defensive maneuvering. In general, this means putting an incoming missile at your 9 o'clock, diving toward the ground, and making a high G turn as the missile closes in to try to break the missile seeker lock, or simply exhaust its energy potential to keep up with the turn. This concludes the training lesson on the countermeasure systems of the A-10C. You can press the escape key on the keyboard to exit the mission.